Let's talk about the Lumix S1 Mark II. I'm Josh, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, we are a video production company. We make videos about making videos. So if you're into that, stay tuned. I have used so many cameras over my career. I've been doing this for over 20 years, and this is not the new camera. This is actually a Lumix GH4. I have used this camera many times over the years, and we still use this occasionally on productions. Our new camera that we typically use is the URSA Cine 12K from Blackmagic. We've been excited to get that in. My camera journey has really just spanned so many things. Not that you guys care, but I used cameras when they were VHS shoulder-mounted cameras. I loved the first Panasonic DVX100 when that came out. It had 24p. It had that film look on it. It was amazing. That was my favorite camera for a while. So I was excited to get back to GH4s when the GH4s dropped. I was like, man, that Panasonic look, that film look, that Cine D profile, I loved it, right? I shot Canon during the DSLR revolution. Went back to Panasonic. Once Blackmagic came on the scene with the first URSA Mini, 4.6K, I nabbed that guy. I thought that was great, and I would actually mix the Panasonic and the Blackmagic. That was fun in color grading. Then we went Sony, been Sony for a couple years, FX3, FX6, FX30, A7S3, like the whole range of Sony. We had a handful of other ones as well. So I have kind of run that gamut. So I come to you to talk about the new Panasonic S1 Mark II because it's an amazing camera. But should you buy it? Is it the right camera for you? Let's talk about that. When a new camera comes out, like all the rest of you, I enjoy looking at the footage. I enjoy looking at the tests. I enjoy what's this camera do? What's it do? What's it different? What's great about this camera? What I don't want to do is keep buying new cameras and keep buying into new lens systems in particular. That's frustrating. When I was on Panasonic and Blackmagic, you don't care about my stories. You don't care about my stories. So when is the right time to buy a new camera? That is a great business question. We'll come back to it. So as you are looking at cameras and trying to decide do I buy this new camera? This new camera came out. It's a game changer. It's amazing. All the YouTubers say it's awesome. And the truth is it's a fantastic camera. I've looked at the specs. I've checked it out. Super cool. A lot of great stuff about it. But there's a lot of great stuff about a whole lot of cameras. And at that price point of around $3,200, it's a great camera. And it's a better price than an FX3. But as some people have pointed out, what's the ecosystem that you're buying, right? You're buying into a camera, you're buying into lenses, you're buying into this whole ecosystem. And so you got to think about those things as you're in camera platforms. Now, if you are already invested in the lenses, the lens system for a particular system, pretty much you want to stay with that system. When you're deciding what camera to buy, you really want to think about what lens system are you buying into. So for example, when I picked up the URSA Cine 12K LF that I've got here, I knew it's coming with an EF mount, but I can switch it out for a PL mount. I can put a handful of different mounts on it. So I can use a variety of lenses on this camera. I already had some EF lenses, and that was great. So I'm cool, good to go. I don't have to spend a whole bunch of money buying a whole bunch of new lenses. I have completely switched camera platforms multiple times in my career. Once the DSLR revolution happened and I moved away from actual video cameras into like DSLR cameras that shot video, it was Canon, right? Canon was the name of the game. And so it was the Canon cameras. I used 5Ds and 7Ds and 60Ds and T3Is and, the whole range. You take a T3I, put Magic Lantern on it. It's, great camera, all kinds of features. I did all that stuff. So that was all EF lenses, right? When it came time for me to upgrade to the next level, I was sick of what Canon was providing, and they were just moving into, C100s and all these things. And I'm like, this camera is way too expensive for what it offers. I don't need that. And so when they dropped the GH4, I went, man, that camera, bang for buck, image quality, 4K, all the good stuff that I needed at the time. And so I went and got the GH4. And then I realized the G7 is a fantastic B cam because it's got the same image quality. It's got the same picture profile. It's got basically the same sensor. Like, it looks the same. Different functions, obviously, but image quality, great. And that's what I cared about. I cared about image quality. And so I went all in on Panasonic, and I sold off almost all my EF glass. I sold off all kinds of things, and I spent a bunch of money switching to Panasonic. And I got, all the Micro Four Thirds lenses. I still have a couple. I finally, like in last year, finished selling off all my Panasonic gear. I had a ridiculous amount of Panasonic cameras, bodies, lenses, because we use them primarily for the wedding videography business I was running at the time. They were lightweight, the batteries lasted forever, no autofocus, but I was a manual focus guy, I didn't care. Everything else, fantastic, right? So they were a great series of cameras. I had been on Panasonic for a while when the Ursa Mini 4.6K dropped, which is the little brother to this guy. I was just like 15 stops of dynamic range, beautiful image, great colors. I had to have it. And so there went some Panasonic gear. I got into, I keep touching this, like this is the camera. This is not the camera. I no longer have that camera. Went into Blackmagic. And so that camera was fantastic. And then after a while, I was like, okay, I need multiple cameras. And now B-RAW is a thing. And so I sold off the Ursa 4.6K and Ursa Mini 4.6K. And I bought into the Pocket 4K series. And I had like 4 pocket cameras at one point, grips of lenses and all these things. Now, the good thing was those cameras were Micro Four Thirds. So all my Panasonic lenses worked on them, which was fantastic. So when I wanted to go small and lightweight, when I wanted zooms, I had those. And when I wanted to go high-end cinematic, I had some Sigma EF Art Series EF lenses that I put on there. Good to go. It was fantastic. And then I went Sony, and that cost me around 20 grand by the time I was done switching over to Sony. It was not cheap, but it was fantastic, and we stayed with Sony for a couple years. The autofocus drew me, the IBIS drew me, all the things that like a GH4 didn't have. I did not keep upgrading, to the next GH5 and whatever. I didn't keep going on that path because I realized the small sensor, things like that, wasn't my thing. They did not have their full frame cameras at the time. And so I went ahead and jumped ship, and I went to Blackmagic, and then finally I went to Sony. And I was with Sony for a number of years, and only this year have I finally ripped myself away from Sony and gone back to Blackmagic. When this 12K Cine came out and the image quality was just amazing, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to get this camera. So should you buy the new camera from Panasonic? It's fantastic. The answer to should you buy this is it the right camera for you? Is it a good fit for your production company, your business? Is it a good fit for the lens selection that you have now? Because if you have lenses that go on it, then upgrading your camera body every year or two is a no-brainer, because camera bodies just get outdated so fast these days, and the new bodies have something new. And it's like, oh, gotta have it. From a business perspective, do you need it? No, you don't. Will your client ever tell the difference between whatever you have now and this new camera you're going to get? If the answer is yes, then maybe it's time to make the jump. But if the client's not going to be able to tell the difference, then probably not. Something else to think about is, what world of production are you in? Are you in a hub production city where people request specific cameras and specific lenses for a job because you're working with agencies or production companies, and they're like, we want an FX6, we want an Arri Mini LF, we want whatever. Then it does matter what gear you have. But if you're like us and you don't live in a production hub town, which is the majority of us, then we're working directly with clients. The clients don't know and don't care. They might go, is that a red camera? Because that's the only thing they know, right? But for the most part, your clients don't know and couldn't tell If you showed them a side-by-side camera A, camera B, they'd be like, oh, they wouldn't know. And I don't say that to put down our clients. I just say that to say this is not their area of expertise. You're talking about pixel peeping. You're talking about, ooh, this one's got just a little more noise in the shadows or whatever. Like these kinds of things that you and I geek out about, and we watch YouTube videos of it, and we make YouTube videos about it, and we love digging into this technical stuff. And you're wrong. This rolling shutter is better. This one's got a half a millisecond faster readout, and it makes such a difference. To us, this matters. To clients, it doesn't matter. So if you're asking a business question, should I buy the new Panasonic camera? Probably not. If you're asking I want to make the best video I possibly can, maybe. It all depends what you have now, right? So in the comments, tell me, what are you shooting on now? What are you shooting on now? And based on what you're shooting on now, are you interested in getting this new camera? Is it a fantastic camera? Yes. Is it perfect? No. No camera is, right? I mean, this guy, amazing, amazing. This URSA Cine 12K LF, love this camera, love the image, love the dynamic range. Is it perfect? No. It's a power-hungry beast. It's heavy. We were just doing G&E on a project for another production company, and they were taking care of DP and camera and all these things, and we were just I was coming in as gaffer. Mike from our crew was grip, and we just brought our van and our G&E package and lit everything and set and did all that for them. And like I'm staring, they're using red cameras. I'm staring at the red cameras. I'm just like, I forget how small these red cameras are compared to a beast like this. And I'm like, yeah, there's a reason. There's a reason people shoot on reds. And there's a reason people shoot on this. And there's a reason some people are still shooting on a GH4. Just like there's a reason that some people are going to say, I have to have this new camera. The camera you shoot on is not the most important thing, right? Camera technology has got to a place today where if you have any modern camera that's, professional grade, prosumer grade, if you spent $2,000 or more on your camera, probably it's decent unless it's a video camera. FX3, fantastic camera, right? Great camera. They've shot literal movies on this thing. They shoot all kinds of things on this camera. Great camera. FX6, which I sold so I can buy this. Great camera. GH4, pretty good camera. This is definitely a little dated at this point. You look at the image off of this versus the image off of the FX3, you can tell a difference. Maybe a client could tell a difference. On those two cameras. But you're talking generations of difference, right? Clients don't know if your camera has autofocus. They just go, is it in focus? So if you're good at pulling focus, which I used to be very good at it because I only used manual cameras until like 3 years ago when I switched to Sony. I was all manual focus for like 15 years of my career before I switched to Sony and finally let go of focus because I said, now this camera is good enough and it's actually better than me. It's faster than I am. That's when I let go. But I was pretty quick to jump right back to manual focus and say, I don't care, because I know how to focus. What do you need to do in your business? That's how you decide which camera is best for you. So if you're looking at this new camera thinking the specs are amazing and this and that, and I want to get this, and 6K, I want open gate, I want, internal ProRes RAW, great. Is internal ProRes RAW going to change your business? Is it going to make your image prettier? Probably. Is it going to change your business? Probably not. Probably not. So I have to learn over the years to take these things with a dose of reality. As I say that, I sit here with this camera on my desk. So clearly, I'm really good at taking my own advice. When this camera came out, I said, I have to have it. I want this camera. I like this camera. I really want to get back to Blackmagic. I miss Blackmagic. My Ursa Mini 4.6K was my favorite camera I ever have had. And I loved the image I got off of that camera. I loved working with it. I knew when I was using that camera, if I pulled that camera out, this is going to look good. I just knew it. This is going to look good. And so there is a place where having that tool that you just trust and you're just like, I know this will look good. And I'm excited to use this tool. Great. There's a place for that. There's a place for that for you. Is it for your client? Probably not. Is it for you? Yeah. All of these cameras are good, except maybe this one. Now, it was great at the time. Great at the time. Dynamic range, very limited on this camera compared to any modern camera. But I'm going to say this. When I bought this camera a couple months ago, in my mind, visions of grandeur, it's going to change everything. It's going to change everything. It's going to be so good. And when we rolled up on our first production with it, and we had been using the FX6 as our primary camera to do interviews, B-roll, corporate videos, and we did a corporate video, and I brought this camera out, and I'm all excited. I set it up, and I'm like, looking at the monitor, I'm like, you know, this image looks about the same as the FX6 image. It's about the same. Is it better? Yeah. Is it higher resolution? Is it, better dynamic range? Is it better color? Is it? Yeah. But at the end of the day, after you've put a grade on it and after you've done what you need to do, is it that different? No. I mean, in a side-by-side, could I pick them out? Probably. In a side-by-side, could a client tell which was which? Never. Never. No client would be like, oh, that's clearly. Now, if I did like a punch-in and blew it up and took the 4K and up-resed it to 8K and showed it in a movie screen and, showed this at 12K and that at 4K, could someone tell a difference? Sure, that's a resolution. Anyone can see a sharpness, resolution difference. But what's your client watching their video on? Their phone? Their laptop? They're watching it in 1080p or maybe less. They're putting it on their website, playing it in 720p so it'll play smooth. Like, it doesn't matter. Your client's audience is on their website, on their phone, with your video the size of a postage stamp. It doesn't matter if it's 12K. It literally doesn't. That's for you. That's for me. That's for the filmmakers. Right? So if I'm projecting this in a movie theater, does it matter? Yeah, different story. But if we're making corporate videos, if we're making direct-to-client content, if we're making content for Instagram or whatever platform you want to use that people watch on a phone in vertical, can they tell? No. No, they can't. So if you want to buy the camera because you think it's fantastic and it's going to change things in your life and in your workflow, great. If you want to buy the camera because you think it's going to change your life or change your work or change the way your clients perceive you, that's not the right reason because it's not going to be true. Now, if you're using a GH4, then all day long, right? Now, it's true. Your client will see a difference between the GH4 and this new camera. Now, I'm making this video about the Lumix S1 Mark II. The truth is I can make this video about every new camera that comes out. I really could. I could just make a new intro and a new outro and put the name of the camera in there. And this video is true. Because this is a timeless principle about what gear you buy. There's gear you buy that will actually level up the quality of your work. And there's gear you buy that you think will level up the quality of your work. I think this levels up the quality of my work. Now, I know, don't hate. Can this do things that this cannot? Most certainly. Is it better than an FX3? Yeah. Can they do the same thing? No, they can't do the same job. If I was going to do a gritty documentary, available light, no lighting package, working on the fast, working on the fly, this is what I would take. Would it look better if it was shot on this? Yeah, as long as I brought lights. This is not a no-light camera. This is a cinema camera. It's designed to be used on set. It's designed to be used in a controlled environment. It's designed to not be used in the rain. This is weatherproof. Have you seen the exhaust holes on the top of this camera? It's not weatherproof. Different cameras have different uses. And that's why when you look at productions, larger budget productions, they choose the right camera, the right lenses for the job. Now I've got a Zine cinema lens here. Should I use that on every job? No. Sometimes I'm using Tamron zoom lenses, baby, because that's the right lens for the job. Sometimes, I pull out my little FD, 50, because that's the right lens. Sometimes I've got a really cheap zoom lens that works great, and it's like a f6 III. Sometimes I'm pulling out my Blazer Remus anamorphics. It's what is the lens that fits the job. Because at the end of the day, our job is to tell our client's story, to bring our clients' goals to life and reality through the equipment we use, through the way we do productions. If you want to know the real secret to making better videos is to stop thinking that the next camera or the next lens is going to do that job for you. You're the one who makes it. When I had my first employee position at another production company, my boss, Andrew, always said, it's the monkey, not the wrench. And this was, out of college, I got this job, and I learned a ton there. And he said, it's the monkey, not the wrench. So thank you, Andrew, for that, if you're watching, if you ever see this. And if you want to talk about buying gear that's going to make a difference, buy lighting gear. Lighting is what's going to make your video look different than the guy who doesn't have lighting. So a lot of people have complained, oh, this is not a low light camera. And I did an ISO test. And I'm like, look how clean the ISOs are at 3200. It's even cleaner than my Sony FX3 or my FX6. It's cleaner at 3200 than my Sony low light monster cameras. And everyone gets all mad. Oh, you can't compare you got to compare the dual base. It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter what ISO I have this camera at, because I'm bringing lights if I'm bringing this camera. It's nice. It's cute that it has a nice, clean 3200, cleaner 3200, I should say, compared to an FX3. Would I use 3200? Probably never. It's good to know that it's usable. It's good to know it's decent, but that's not my ISO of choice. I'm going to roll at ISO 800 because I like how that looks. Maybe occasionally push it to 1600, maybe occasionally, push it down to 400, but ISO 800, that's my sweet spot. I love the way ISO 800 looks on this camera. That's the ISO I'm going to light to. Doesn't matter what the ISO is. I'm not running around in the street at night lit by moonlight with this camera. This is the wrong camera for the job. You want to do that? Grab your FX3, grab your A7S III, grab whatever, dual base native 5000 ISO camera that you have. Great. That is the camera for that job. That's the camera for that. What are you doing? Get the right camera for the job and get the right camera for the way of working. When I decided that I was going to sell off the FX6 and also my FX3, which is in process of being sold here to a friend, I knew this camera needed light because I shot Blackmagic before. I know how Blackmagic works. They need light. They're not low light cameras. Now, I have been very impressed with the low light performance on this guy. I'm not trying to turn this into a review of this camera. I'm not trying to hijack this thing. But my point is, I knew what this camera needed, and when we roll up on set, we're bringing lights. So moving to this camera that needs lights, not a problem for me. It's a great fit in my workflow. Now, if I'm doing run and gun stuff, I'm not grabbing this camera. I'm grabbing the Sonys, because the Sonys are made for run and gun stuff. You throw a zoom lens on, you're good to go. You crank that ISO, you do what you need to do, and the image is going to look good. That's not what this camera is. So if this new S1 Mark II is that for you, if it's going to do what you need it to do, then it's a great camera for you. Don't let anybody tell you it sucks. It's a great camera. Don't let anyone say the FX3 sucks, or the URSA Cine 12K LF sucks, or any. These are all great cameras. They're all different. They all have pros and cons. You have to do your research. You have to know what camera can do what you need it to do. That's what's important. I hope you enjoyed this rant on cameras and why you should stop buying new ones. And I hope that this video has been helpful to you. Just trying to drop my perspective in the mix. Every time a new camera comes out, there's so much, fanfare around the cameras. And I mean, like these companies know how to release cameras, right? Like they know how to market, they know how to sell. That's their job. If they don't sell this camera to you, then they don't get to continue. And so, hey, maybe support these companies and buy their cameras so that they keep making new things, because eventually they'll make the one that's perfect for you, right? But you need to make a decision that works for you and for your business. Now, if you're a hobbyist, you can just ignore this whole conversation. Do whatever the heck you want, because you got a real job. You got your sugar daddy, sugar mama. It's all paid for. You're just buying things for fun. You just do whatever you want. You just do whatever you want. But if you're running a business, like I'm running a business, I feed my family by using my cameras. And if I spend too much money on my cameras, then my kids don't have enough food, right? I don't mean to make it sound horrible like that, but think about the business perspective, right? If you've got money coming in and you put money out, then what you have left is, your profit. You have left what you're going to take home. And so if you're putting out all your money on gear, what are you taking home? I mean, unless you're bringing in that much money that you can put out that much money here, then great, a different problem. But for most video production people out there, we're not making $1 million a year, personally. I'm not talking about production companies. I'm talking about personal salaries, right? Most of us are making a livable wage. Most of us are making, maybe a good wage. But most of us are not doing this for fun as a hobby. Most of us are trying to feed our families, right? And so if you've got to feed your family doing this, then you have to ask yourself business questions when it comes time to buy a new piece of gear. And you got to think, do I need this? Not do I want this, do I need this? And that's the way I try to operate. I try to operate by saying, do I need this? Is this going to enhance my work? Is this going to make me go faster? Is this going to make me more productive? Is this going to make me more money, ultimately? And maybe I sidestep my own advice a little bit buying this guy, but I try really hard. I try really hard. I tried. I might have failed a little bit here, but I try really hard. And so buy the equipment that you need. Make sure that you can use it to the fullest of its ability. So if you don't read your manuals, if you don't know how to use your camera, stop and learn your gear. Whether you're a manual reader or not, stop and learn your gear, right? Like watch a YouTube video, do whatever you need to do to get the most out of your gear. Anytime I get a new camera, I'm going to learn how to get the most out of it, because that's what matters. How can I get the most out of this piece of gear? I realized this video got long and I just started the whole second video. So I think I'm going to shut up here and wrap this thing up. And I know I already said that once, but I'm the king of one more, and then that's enough, and then one more, and then one more. Anyways, if you're ever on set with me, you'll know that. Let's just do one more, and that means 5 more. So I am going to wrap this thing up here. I hope this has been helpful to you. I hope that the false ending didn't throw you off too hard, and then I just kept going for another 10 minutes or whatever it is. I'm not even looking at the clock here. I think this new camera is fantastic. And I think for some people, it's a fantastic move to upgrade and get it. But for example, if you're talking about switching platforms, you're going to buy a whole new set of lenses and do all these things, unless you're on something like a GH4, you're probably not going to see a return on that investment. The camera's not going to change your life. No camera will. This camera doesn't. Is it beautiful? Yeah. Do I love it? Yeah. Do I want to work extra hard to use it as much as I can? Yeah. Do I want to throw my Blazer Remus anamorphics on every shoot? Yeah, because I have them and they're anamorphic and it's cool and let's go. But is that the right choice? Right? Sometimes Mike is real good about reeling me back, and he'll just be like, I'm like, we should shoot this on the Blazars. And he's like, should we really shoot this on the Blazars? And I'm like, you're right. We shouldn't shoot this on the Blazars. We should grab the Tamron zooms and we should rock, or whatever it may be, right? So just because you get a new piece of gear, just because it's your favorite piece of gear, doesn't mean you should always use that piece of gear. Now, I know most people don't have as many cameras as I unfortunately have, and lens systems and all these choices to make, and a lot of people really have one piece of kit. And I ran my business that way for a very long time. And guess what? It was very profitable. And it worked really well as a business. And so I recommend trying to keep it that way. It is expensive to maintain multiple camera systems, multiple lens systems, and it sucks. But there's also a time in business where going up to that next level is what you need. So if that's this time for you and you need to go up a level, you need to go up a step, and you need to invest in a totally separate system because it's going to do something for your career, for your business, do it. Do it. That is all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for the next video from us over at Story King Studios. And the next video will probably be another production vlog. That's what we make a lot of. Or maybe another video about this camera, because y'all seem to love this camera as I love this camera, and I keep making videos about it because I keep learning how to use it, how to rig it, how to make it better. So if you're interested in new cameras, stay tuned for the next video on this guy, as well as whatever else I decide to put out next. I'm trying to stay regular on content. We have been busy, and by busy, I mean we have been working hard on the business and trying to continue to keep the hopper full of new clients and keep things moving so that we can continue to bring you guys fun and exciting behind the scenes content and all the other things that we like to do. Spoiler, we got a job from our YouTube channel, and we'll be talking about that in another video. So if you don't think it's valuable to start a YouTube channel for your video business, you should, and we'll talk about that on the next one. Thank you. Goodbye.